explained that he'd laid out the spreadsheet I showed him and made them both sit there, while he went through every single payment I'd made over the years, and he'd set his own boundary that he wouldn't listen to complaints about me unless they could acknowledge the $47,000 I'd contributed. Dad said Michael had tried to argue that family helps family, and I was just doing what aunts do, but Dad shut that down by pointing out that Michael's other sister hadn't paid for a single birthday party or tutoring session in 16 years. He'd also offered to help Michael create a realistic budget and take over some of the costs that had been pushed onto me, like Sophia's insurance and soccer fees. And while I felt skeptical about how long this would last, having Dad actually involved and taking action felt like a huge shift. I thanked him and admitted I was surprised he'd stepped up like this, and he said he should have done it years ago instead of staying out of money discussions and assuming everything was fine. We talked for another 20 minutes about logistics and boundaries, and when we hung up, I felt lighter than I had in weeks, because at least one parent was finally seeing the situation clearly, instead of expecting me to just keep sacrificing. My therapy appointment with Emmeline happened 2 days later in her office downtown, which had comfortable chairs and soft lighting that made it easier to talk about hard things. She'd reviewed my intake notes and the homework I'd done about family patterns, and she started the session by asking how I was feeling about losing my identity as the good daughter who makes everyone happy. I hadn't thought about it in exactly those terms before, but hearing her say it out loud made something click in my brain, because that's exactly what I'd been grieving. We spent the next 40 minutes working through the weird mix of relief and loss that came with setting boundaries, and she helped me understand that I could still have relationships with family members without being their personal bank account. Emmeline taught me some specific scripts for my upcoming birthday that would protect my boundaries while staying connected, like saying I'm not available for that instead of explaining or defending my choices. She pointed out that real love doesn't require constant money sacrifice, and that the relationships worth keeping would survive me having limits. And hearing this from a professional helped push back against the lifetime of think of your brother programming that still played in my head sometimes.